right, there he is. What an honor. What an honor. So, Kyle and I have actually known each other for a lot of years. Both started the business not too far apart from one another. Uh, and Kyle, as many of you know, is the CEO of Simply Self Storage, and it's a Blackstone portfolio company. And he joined Simply back in 2004. So he's a seasoned veteran now. Over his career at Simply, he's been involved in almost $5 billion of transactions, and most recently played a role in the Blackstone acquisition. And Kyle, it's great to have you here. Why don't we get this thing started?
Great. Thanks for having me, Ian. I think you did a great job there with the introduction to the industry. I think you basically summarized everything in your first 2 minutes of introduction there. So good job.
Well, great. Thank you. Thank you. We'll get a little deeper into it. So, for everyone's benefit, Kyle, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got into storage?
Sure. Yeah. So, very similar to you, Ian, I consider myself a recovering attorney. And so I was, working at a law firm in Indianapolis, and Kurt and Simply were a client of the law firm that I was working for, and got to know the business a little bit through that relationship. Ended up coming in-house for Simply Self Storage. As you said, in 2004, it was actually November 1, 2004. So I just celebrated my 17-year anniversary here at Simply on Monday. So, yeah.
It's crazy. So you were obviously a critical component with success at Simply, and I saw that firsthand on many levels. What did the company look like when you got there, and what's it look like now? And tell a little bit about how things have changed from your perspective.
Yeah, well, like I said, when I started, I think we had maybe 10 or so self-storage properties, but it wasn't just self-storage, right? We were into everything, very entrepreneurial, and over time, then we brought on, I think our first large equity partner was based here in Orlando. So we moved the company to Orlando. Kind of the second phase of Simply was moving here, and at that time we brought on a lot of the team members that are still with us today. We have 15 team members that have been with us 10 plus years, and so we have a lot of tenured employees here. And then after that, we moved on and really brought on our first institutional partner and institutionalized ourselves, our processes, everything here. And then that led us to the Blackstone acquisition in December of 2020. And now I really consider this kind of the fourth phase of Simply, and I like to call it Simply 4.0. So I really feel like we have a best-in-class platform here, and now we really have the ability to scale this platform and see what's next for us.
Great. So you talk about staff. So I got to imagine that had a big part of the decision-making process for you, and loyalty, and why after the acquisition you wanted to stay on.
Definitely. Yeah. As I mentioned, we have those 15 or so employees that 10 plus years. We have 60 or so corporate employees. 20 of them we've hired this year. And so even with those 20 new hires this year, we still have an average tenure here in the corporate office of 6+ years. And so we really have a lot of tenure here, a lot of people that I've been working with for a long time. And so really that was the main reason for me to stick around and really, grow this platform with that team. And then, the other reason obviously is just the opportunity to build this platform and really take a long-term approach with everything, right? I mean, now we're owned by Blackstone in the BREIT, which is a perpetual vehicle. And we can really look at this as a long-term investment and make decisions that will really stand for the length of time instead of maybe more opportunistic.
Great. So talk a little bit about how you got through the pandemic, how the company changed. What are your personal thoughts about how the industry has changed?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest way we got through the pandemic, right, was our people out in the field. I think, I'm fairly proud of the team here in the corporate office. There was a core group of us that came in every day and really focused on the business. But you got to remember the team was out there every day, kept the properties open every day, and we're really right in the face of the pandemic, dealing with customers on a daily basis. But back here in the corporate office, I would say there were, There were a couple of things that really helped us get through the pandemic. I think one, we were lucky enough to bring on our online rental platform before the pandemic started. So we had that in place, and that really helped us, continue to rent units, even if a property was closed. I think second, we really had a large focus on auto pay right before the pandemic as well. I think we were, in the mid 40s on our auto pay coverage, and now we're, right around 70% on that auto pay. And I think that helped us during the height of the pandemic keep our delinquency low. And now, as the pandemic is, becoming less of a factor, I think it's really helping us with our ECRIs. I think we're able to get really aggressive with the existing customer rent increases because of the auto pay percentage. And I think that's been big for us. And then I think the third thing for us was, we were able to utilize our dashboards that we've created. And you talk about the data, and we were able to just really concentrate on the data that we had at hand and make decisions about the business during a time when maybe you didn't have as much direct communication with your team or as much knowledge about what's going on at each property level. So I think that was critical for us as well.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about your thoughts on the industry in general. So how do you think this compares to other points in the cycle? Where are we at today?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned the new competition, right? So it's got to come. With where we are right now, everybody has, you listen to the REITs earnings calls, everybody's reporting record occupancy for this time of year. I think we're seeing it too. So every operator's probably seeing that. You've got incredible pricing power. So the new development has to come. So it's probably, you probably remember this, 2014, 2015, right before the next wave of new competition came, right around 2016 through 19. I think people quickly forget there were a lot of new developments that were struggling to fill up during that time period. And I think the pandemic more or less saved a lot of those developments. And now those developments are worth, record prices. And so, I think the developers will have that short-term memory and they'll forget about that and they'll quickly be back. I think the big question, right, is the other thing that you mentioned, supply chain issues, labor shortages. How long will it take for that new competition to come? I think, we told Blackstone when they purchased us that we thought we had at least a 2-year window, right? We thought we had 2021 and 2022 until we really saw the new competition. Now I think it might be delayed, right? I think you're not hearing as much about the new competition starting just yet. So I think it will be a little bit of a delay. So hopefully we have at least part of 2023 as well until we really start to see the new competition.
Yeah, that would be great. So you talk about relationships a lot. How important are they to you? From my perspective, I feel like the SBOA exists largely because of relationships. I feel like the industry is probably one of the friendlier industries out there. I think people are very willing to share because it's such a localized business. Talk a little bit about your perspective on relationships and how it's impacted your journey.
I would echo exactly what you said. Look at what you guys did for this summit right here. You're able to get 65 speakers to come together. You've been in the business a long time. Your team put a lot of effort into putting this together, but a lot of the speakers came here because of their relationship with you, right? You have a lot of relationships in this industry. I think that's critical, right? And I think if you look at a lot of the people that we've hired here at Simply from within the industry, I think that's what we really focus on. We focus on people that have relationships in the industry, and not only that, they have great reputations in the industry as well.
Yeah, it's creating the key. So as I mentioned in my opening too, I get calls all the time. I'm sure you do too. People just want to just talk about the industry. If someone contacted you today and said, "I'm looking to get in the space," how many times I hear, "Hey, I just got $50 million of equity. I'm going to buy a ton of storage." What would you tell someone?
It's interesting because I had our marketing person tell me that that the storage business is actually deceptively complex, and that surprised me, having somebody that came over from the hospitality industry. And I think, his point was the customer base is completely different in the hospitality industry and others. You probably want to talk to your customer every day, right? You want to, get them to come back and stay with you again. Here in our industry, you really want them to move in, put their unit on auto pay, and just kind of forget about it, to remind them that they have self-storage on a daily basis, right? And so I think what I would tell them is, if they're coming into the industry, that to partner up with somebody that really knows what they're doing, that has experience in the business, because the data that they have, that others have about the industry, is very critical these days.
Yeah, no, it's huge. So what are some of the most important initiatives from a management perspective that you are working on, or you think are important, or you'd like to accomplish? Where do you see, based on all these changes, what are the most important modifications or management initiatives that are in the works for Simply?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same for everyone in the industry, right? I think you touched on a lot of them in your intro, and I think it's automation. But it's, for us, we are not looking to completely automate our facilities. I think we're focused really more on that labor saving technology, not the labor replacing technology. I think we're big believers in having people at the store, having that customer service perspective. So I think we're looking for ways to just make our team more efficient at the properties, and to supplement the labor on a daily basis. We're not looking to replace them. So I think that's a big focus for us. We're testing, every option that's out there right now, and looking at different things to do there. I think the other side of it is, what we've talked so much about is the data, right? I mean, we have all of our data from our 17 years in the business here, and we use it on a daily basis. And now I think the data that's available to the industry from others like StoreTrack, I think that is very critical for us to use on a daily basis, and really help drive our decision making. And so that's really our main focus. Every hire that we're making these days is, they have some kind of background in data or technology.
Yeah. So one last question. You talk about employees a lot. What are you doing to maintain and find new and maintain staff at the property? I know it's the biggest challenge out there right now. What are you guys doing? Anything unique you want to share?
I don't think we're doing anything unique. I'd say what we're doing is everything that we can, right? We're using everything at our disposal to maintain our current employees, and make sure everyone is happy here at Simply Self Storage. And I think we're doing a fairly good job at that. We do an employee engagement survey every year, and we really listen to what that survey tells us. We've made a lot of changes to the way we do business, to our benefits, to just other things that we do here at Simply on a daily basis, to really make sure we're meeting our employees' needs at this time. And then, from a new employee perspective, we're really relying on employee referrals. I think that really is the best and cheapest way to bring new employees on. And so we're really hitting that home and out there in the field right now, and hoping that leads to additional hires. It's less of an issue here in the corporate office, right? I think
absolutely.
We've hired 23 new people here in the corporate office as we prepare for the growth that we're expecting over the coming years. And so, we've been able to do that fairly easily, I think, because of our culture here in the corporate office. I think when people come here and visit and see it, I think they fall in love with the culture. And what we're really trying to do is parlay that culture here in the corporate office to out in the field at this time.
Yeah. Well, if anyone can do it, you can. So Kyle, I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your insights. Very valuable for everybody out there. You're a great guy, and I appreciate your friendship, and it was really helpful for all of us. So thank you again.
All right. Appreciate it, Ian. Thank you.